So if you want to help yourself and help this office, you will find a way to get on board with this code and to keep me held to it.
Yo, honestly, man, I had to play a clip from this series. That yo, you have no idea. This is like my favorite series to watch, and I hate in between seasons because the time takes too long. And now we're in season 5 of the TV series Billions, which airs every Sunday at 9 p.m. on Showtime. And I just watched the last airing episode last night, and I was telling Kelly Kincaid for about a couple of seasons now, when can we get Condola on the line? When can we get Dola on the line? And so finally it's happened, Heather. We got the one and only Condola Rashad, a.k.a. Dola, is here. Welcome her to the
Hi,
show.
everybody.
Big
How y'all
round
doing?
of applause. Man,
Hey, Dola Bunny.
what's up? Dola, Dola, Dola. How you doing?
So it's a good day, you know?
You know what? I start every morning. I wake up, I look to the left, look to the right, I pinch myself and say, man, I'm already a step ahead. You know, I
Yeah.
think the rest is a bonus, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every day I can talk to my family members and they're breathing well and it's all right. It's a wonderful day. So I have no complaints. Really.
I wish I could talk to your family members every day.
It's an experience, I'll tell you that.
Well, you know, we had your dad, Ahmad Rashad, is my middle name is Ahmad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so he and I have met plenty of times doing work through our work circles, and I was a big fan growing up of his playing football and everything, and I always used to emulate him. And he was the kindest person one time, and came up and said something to me, and gave me his number, and I almost wanted to say to him, "Look, I almost want to give it back. Like, man, you shouldn't give me your number. this might be too kind. You know what I mean? I almost want to, I kept it though, Dola.
Yep.
And he's a very gracious man and a very giving individual. That's who he is. So I believe that. I can see that.
Okay, and I won't stay on your parents too long, but we actually had your mom on the show last year for the first time, and you know, we were asking her about, you know, what was it like being everybody's mom, and I wanna, especially in Black America, and I want to play back this real quick, and this is what she had to say. NAACP dubs you the mother of the Black community.
That is a very humbling experience, and that for me is the most significant recognition that I have received.
Wow, and why was
because
it so?
of what mother means, and to be embraced by your people as the mother of the community. That's a lot.
Oh,
Yes.
Man. Yes.
Queen Mother.
Queen Mother. Did she used to talk in that very pristine, prestigious voice when she would punish you?
Yeah, you know, this is how she is. She really is like that. So, you know, that's not even her putting on anything. She, you know, her nickname growing up, her sister and my aunt Debbie and even my grandmother Vivian Ayers Allen, her nickname when she was a child was Miss Lish. So she has always had. I always like to say, my mother doesn't walk; she floats, and it's true. She really is like that. So my mother, you know, she was very gracious with me growing up, and it's her punishments were. She always came from a place of I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed kind of a place.
Okay,
which is always more effective. So there was always a level of passivity in the punishment. So yes, to answer your question, yes.
Oh my gosh! I got Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen ran my household. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like my sister thought she was your auntie for years, and I was Leroy from Fame for a long period of time. Hey, let me ask you. You probably don't remember this, and then we're gonna get into these conversations. But I really am a big fan. I love you as Kate Sacker on Billions. It's great to see the diversity in the cast. You come in there and you really kill that role. I know it's a lot of jargon, you know, stock market jargon, and it's really kind of educational to watch Billions because you know, I know a lot of the research that's probably being done for this show is fairly accurate and probably how billionaires probably navigate in that world. Have you been able to take anything from that show and use to your advantage from a financial perspective in terms of investments or even diving into
not
them?
necessarily. My life is very, I don't know how to put it. My existence as Dola, as myself, is very separate from Billions. For me, Billions is just storytelling for me. I mean, obviously it is incredibly educational. So there's a lot of gems in there, but the way that I live, it's a very separate world than my world. So it is very, I think it's interesting too when I meet people, I think people are a little bit, I think there's something that happens in our culture now where the line between the character and the actor or the person is gotten very blurry. So for some reason, when people meet me, they assume that they're going to meet Kate Sacker, and I'm absolutely nothing like Kate Sacker, other than the fact that I have incredible ambition and drive. But other than that, in terms of what you get, is a very much wackier person than I think people are expecting to meet, and so that's always been quite interesting these past couple of years.
I used to watch you when you bring up Dola. I used to watch you perform. I saw you perform at Joe's Pub years ago. Yep, you and Daniel Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw, and he went on to do Hamilton and Shrek and all these great projects that he's been on. And I watched you early on, and even then, I can tell that wow, this person is really invested in her art. And so when I see videos from like the Give Up the Gold video, and I see the Blue video, and I see all of this artistic expression, you know, I mean, the visuals are incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, every moment counts. Like I watch those videos and go, my gosh, how much time and energy and effort and detail is she putting into this creative process? Can you talk about those videos?
I would love to. Yes, so this is I'm so excited to be able to finally talk about this project because what most people do not know is actually my first artistic expression was music. I trained as a classical pianist for most of my childhood, and so that actually is my foundation. And most people don't know that, which is actually completely fine. But it's feeling so freeing to finally be able to step into the artist that I am and be able to share that with everyone. And this project was a secret for the past year and a half. Literally, even my closest friends did not know what I was doing. Nobody knew what I was doing other than my mother and people that were connected to the project. And so I created this EP. And after the music had been created, I was the co-producer and one of the writers. And as I finished this EP, I'm listening to the music, and all of a sudden it became very clear to me. I saw it, that it wanted to be a video series. I saw the visuals. I saw the story that I wanted to tell. I knew the order of the songs. I just saw it very clearly. So I started to create these mood boards. I started to just kind of get it all in line. And literally, Sway, the entire year, 2019, was the biggest year of manifestation for me. Wow. Between getting it all on paper, between finding the team that was going to help me make it, because I was the producer. So between getting the costumes together, the hair, the nails, everything that you see is absolutely a decision that was made very early on with great precision because I knew the story that I wanted to tell. And I actively did this without a label. And that was because, see, my music, it's funny, this has always been something that has, in the past, it was something that always stood in my way. Yeah. But I heard you talking about Andre Harrell, and I really like what you said about audacity can work in your favor. That resonates so strongly with me because that is what I decided to do. I said, listen, my music is inspired by many different artists, many different influences. And also, my music is not even only inspired by other music. My music is inspired by film. My music is inspired by colors. My music is inspired by taste. So I knew that going into this project, a label, this was my my intuition. I felt that a label was not going to allow me to express these videos and to express this music in the way that I'm here to do it. Not right away. I said, coming out the gate, I felt a label was going to try and make me into another version of another artist that exists, and I'm not here for that. So I say, okay, listen, this was the moment where most people my age are putting a down payment down on the house, which is, a smart move. But at that moment, I realized that what was giving me life was investing in my artistry. So that's what I decided to do. And it was a gamble. But like I said, I knew a label wasn't going to allow me to do it this way. So I said, no, I'm going to do it this way. And once I step out if there are labels or people that want to jump on board once they see what it is that I do, then that's fine. But I'm not going to be molded into anything else at this time. So this has been the most incredible journey. I mean, I've never produced anything. I had never directed anything because I'm one of the directors of the video. I directed these videos with my friend Maud Arnold, who's a childhood friend of mine. As I knew on the day, I needed somebody who I could communicate with, who could be behind the camera as I was performing it. So I wanted to make sure that I had covered all bases. Yeah. But I got my tribe together, and my friends helped me. This is all made by my friends. These are artists, other artists working in the world. Jessica Emanuel, the choreographer, she's my dear friend from college. She was my RA in college. You know, these are just people that I was like, hey, I have this vision. Do you want to help me express it? And they all gathered in, and we just created this. We shot it in all these videos in the course of a few days, and there was no sleep involved. And we just went. And then the next thing I know, I'm in the editing room. I had never edited before, so this is the first time I'm editing anything. And so I'm learning. All of 2019, I learned about myself as well. One, I learned that music is why I'm here. And also, I already knew that, actually. But I learned that I'm a producer. I learned that I'm a director. I learned these skills that I did not know I had. So being able to share that and offer that with love at this time has been incredibly gratifying for me.
Dola, give her a round of applause. She just became Dola. You're no longer that other name. You're Dola.
I'm Dola.
You're Dola. And I love that you, because yesterday was Mother's Day, and you made the decision to donate the proceeds from your, from the sales of your music to Hearts of Gold, which helps homeless mothers and their children, correct?
Yes, that's correct. For the month of May, all of my personal proceeds will go to Hearts of Gold. And for Blue, my personal proceeds for the streaming and the downloading of both the music video and the song for Blue will go to the food bank for New York City indefinitely. And this just came about because, again, this was always the time that we were going to release this music. And then once the pandemic hit, I wanted to offer this as an artist at this time, but then I also wanted to find a way. I said, so how can I find a way to also link it to the efforts of an organization that's also helping financially? So that way this project kind of lives on its own. I can offer it artistically, and just by experiencing it, you are also helping these organizations to get the funds that they need to help all of us at this time. So, you know, this is how it came to be. And so I said, so it is, and here we are.
Dola's here. We also know her from Billions, but with today, you know, where she plays Kate Sacker, but we're going to talk about this music. Tracy or Heather, y'all want to jump in? Say hello to Heather B and Tracy G, Dola.
Hi, how are y'all?
Hey, Dola. Good. Well, first of all, Dola, when you said Maud Arnold, are you speaking about Maud that also is a tap dancer?
Yes, that's my childhood friend.
Woo! Yes, me and Maud go way back. Such a beautiful spirit.
Real?
So, yeah, sincerely. So I'm happy to be even further connected to you in this way. I'm also wondering, because you have such fearlessness to you and you create without borders, can you speak for the creators out there who sometimes feel arrested by perfectionism? And that can lead to procrastination and overthinking and falling into the traps of someone else's vision.
I think that runs rampant. And I think especially in this time where we are in the age of social media, this is something that plagues so many artists, and it silences so many of our voices. And we don't realize that by lending ourselves to this kind of idea of overthinking and being overly, being an over perfectionist, it's self-sabotage in a way, and it basically creates a space where we are the ones getting in our own way. And I think the thing to remember this, because again, listen, I'm an artist myself, and so I have experienced waves of this, and I started to realize, once you start to realize that you have more power and you have more control as to how you direct your mind and how you direct your energy, it allows you to reclaim your power, and you realize that you are not a victim to these circumstances. It all has to do with where you put your energy, where you're going to decide to put your energy. And I think sometimes we lose sight of the fact that we have control over that we actually do have power over that. But it takes time to really sit with yourself to say, you know what? I'm not going to subscribe to that today. and I'm not going to subscribe to that tomorrow. You see, that artist that you see in front of you, that's not you. They're doing what they're here to do. So you can be inspired by them, but never forget that you are here to do what you are here to do. And you own that, and that's what brings it to life. But the minute that we get too cramped, and again, I do think that there are certain aspects of social media and there's certain aspects that are running rampant in our society right now that don't help that. So it's up to us to reclaim our power every day. It's a decision every day. You have to make the decision every single day to stay true to your artistry and believe in what you are here to do. That's what, for example, in my, because again, I like to speak for myself because we're all different artists, so I never like to assume someone else's journey. But I can speak for myself in the sense where I had that at the beginning of this project. I say, okay, this is not normally the way that you go about this. This is not normally the way that an artist would go about doing this. And I had to really, and even throughout the process, there were moments where I would hit these blocks, because again, this is the first time I'm producing, first time I'm directing. I would hit these blocks. I'd say, okay, I don't really know how to do this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know that I have the capacity, and that person might be doing it better than I can. And all of a sudden I realized that my thoughts were paralyzing me. So I say, okay, what would happen if I actually just believed that I could do this? Like, there were a few times, and there's a few things that I'll share later on as this project continues to unfold. There were a few times where there were things that I had to do that I had never done, and I was like, well, I really just don't know. But I had to just say to myself, okay, in this moment, if I were to just believe that I can do that, what would I do? And somehow, magically, moments later, I had done the thing. And I was like, well, I guess all it took was for me to really genuinely prepare and believe that I could do the thing.
Wow.
And it just changed the whole mindset. It changed my whole mindset.
Wow. I'm loving this conversation. Condola Rashad, a.k.a. Dola, is here. She got her new single and music video, Give Up the Gold. That's out now. The video for Blue is out right now.
Yep.
And she's done so much.
I was going to say that. Yeah. Hey, Dola, what's up? It's Heather. How are you? Sway
hey, Heather. How are you?
Hey, girl, I'm good. Sway and I had the opportunity to see you in Romeo and Juliet. And I just want to say first, I believe, you're talking about believing and knowing things. I believe that you definitely have what it takes, whether it's film, television, your voice, your singing voice, and the stage, Broadway, to become an EGOT winner one day. So I just want to put that in the universe for you.
Oh, thank you, Heather. Thank you so much for that.
Bless you with that. And then switch gears a little bit. Because of your father, we had the opportunity, I'm curious about if your mom, we know, super talented, but then your dad, so many years in sports. We had the opportunity on Thursday to speak with Michael Jordan's oldest kids. And they talked about growing up in the house, obviously around a sports icon, and Jay-Z and Beyonce coming over one day, and one of them was in the 5th grade and taking pictures. Are you a sports fan, A? And do you have any kind of crazy memories of like so-and-so being like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at your house one day? Would you be able to share something like fun in terms of sports for you?
So my relationship with sports it's always been off and on. I have these moments where I get very invested, and then I have moments where I come out of it. Like it's been like that my whole life. Like during the Chicago Bulls golden era, I mean, you could not. I mean, I was in it to win it, and then it's just I just keep going in and out. And then even a couple of years ago, the Minnesota Vikings, which was the team that my father played for, they honored him and they brought his jersey up into the rafters. So that year, I was going Vikings hardcore. I was super invested. I'm watching the games every Sunday. Every Sunday, I got my gear on. So I gotta go in and out. And it has been so moving for me recently because actually that was a really moving time for me because when I was growing up, I'm an artist really. So I played sports a little bit, but I think early on my dad kind of learned she's an artist. She's I might have tried to play on the soccer team once, and my dad was like, "Yeah, this is probably not as good. That's probably not her calling."
Right.
I'm athletic, but the sports mentality is not quite. I'm not competitive, so it didn't quite manifest in that way. But, growing up by the time I was born, see, my siblings have a different understanding because my siblings who are much older than me when they were born, he was still playing football. So their experience of my father was very different because by the time I was born, he had retired already, okay? So I didn't get to see highlights of his on the television. You know, that my mom was on TV and he was doing inside stuff, but I didn't see him as the legend that he was. And so just a few years ago, when the Vikings celebrated him, when we went to that ceremony in Minnesota, that I was really moved. That was the first time that I really saw all of his highlights. And I just became addicted to watching my dad's highlights. And I was like, Dad, so wait, talk me through this Hail Mary. So what was going through your mind? Like, I mean, like all of a sudden, my dad's like, she's all of a sudden super invested in my football career. But growing up, you know, it's interesting, you know, between my father and my mother, there were many, many, many celebrated artists often in my living room because we had these Christmas parties, and these Christmas parties were just the jewel of everybody's year. And so we had there was all kinds of people in the living room. And for me though, my favorite individual is always Michael Jordan. He always to me has been an uncle figure of mine. So when I was growing up, I often saw him, and he's just this kind, gentle giant. As a little girl, you have to imagine just how much of a giant he seemed to be. But he has always been so close to my father.
Yes.
They've always been such close friends. And so for me, all of these individuals, all these celebrated artists between him and then, you know, growing up with on my aunt's side, you know, because Denzel Washington used to live in Mount Vernon. That's where my mother lived. So that was the connection there. So we also grew up around him and his family. And so these are all these legendary artists that we grew up with, but to us, they're family. So it didn't seem like, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, it just seemed like, well, there's Uncle Michael and Uncle Denzel. And, you know, it was a family. We are like family. So that's been my experience. And I know it sounds strange to a lot of people, but that's my experience.
But I would imagine being around all of those kinds of family members too could fuel your audacity to make you believe that everything is possible because you're naming the best of the best. Michael Jordan, Denzel,
come on.
Debbie Allen, your mom, your father. I used to emulate the catches he would make.
Gosh,
what do you mean, Heather? What are you saying? When I was on the field, I was him. I'm Ahmad. Anyway, you know, so I loved your dad. I want to name a few people you worked with really quick and just kind of get a quick reaction to what was it like.
Yeah. Okay.
Jodie Foster.
Oh, Jodie Foster. All right. So Jodie Foster, who was the director of Money Monster, you know what? It's so crazy you asked about Jodie Foster because I was just reading a journal entry of mine, and I had written about that experience. That was such a brief experience. I remember I went in for the audition, and then I got the call back, and I knew I was going in for Jodie Foster, and I kind of had my little fangirl moment on the inside, and I was like, okay, but I'm an actor. This is an audition, so let me just pull it all the way together because I had been so inspired by Jodie Foster. I go in, she had me do it a couple different ways. And then she was just so excited that I did it so many different ways. The next thing you know, I'm on the set. We shot my stuff in one day. So it was literally a very, very quick day with her. It was kind of a surreal day. It was her, George Clooney, and Julia Roberts, and just a day. And then the next day I knew the day was over. Wow. But she said to me at the end of that, and I'll never forget it because it was so inspiring. She said to me, I cannot wait to see where you go because you literally can do anything. Any direction I've ever given you, you can do anything. You take direction like it just you were meant to do it. You can literally do anything. And to hear that from Jodie Foster was like so inspiring. I hold that to this day.
Wow. I'm a big fan of hers too. Here's one of those legends I'm going to throw at you. Cicely Tyson.
Woo! Miss Tyson. So the fact that after everything that I have had the great honor to do in my life, the fact that I was given the grace and the honor to share a stage with Miss Tyson night after night for months is something that will never be lost on me. I remember the first day that I met her, and I knew we were going to be cool. And this is why I knew. One, she's a Sagittarius, and I was like, yes, I'm a Sagittarius myself. So I was like, okay. She came into rehearsal, dressed in leather pants and green nails. And I was like, you know what? I said, okay, see, she did not come to play, okay, and she is letting us know. I was like, I just knew from that moment that we were going to get on. But then beyond that, being able to take the time with her and be with her and learn from her, even just being in her presence. And we kind of have developed this kind of, she reminds me, the way that I feel about her is the way that I feel about my grandmother. And that is kind of that was kind of our dynamic, both on stage and off stage during that time. Mm-hmm. But she, just to share these tender moments with her on that stage every single day. And then when she was nominated and she won, and to have been a part of that, I mean, it just, that's one of the highlights of my professional career, working with Miss Tyson.
I can only imagine. Queen Latifah.
You know what's so funny about this? You are reminding me of how much grace I've had.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it takes you, somebody telling you or reminding you all of these people that you work with, and you have me thinking like, wow, I work with her too. That's right. Mm-hmm. Queen Latifah became a fast friend. There was something about her that she just saw me very, very clearly. So she just, like, when we were filming, she would always catch me on stuff. If I was, you know, doing some stuff my mom wouldn't know, she would always catch me doing something. She's just always been, Queen Latifah has been someone that I've always felt like she sees me. She sees me. She supports me. She supported my music. She's just someone that's always seen me very clearly. And she's got this down-to-earth personality that is unshakable. Unshakable. The minute that you're in her presence, you feel like you're in the presence of a friend that you've known for years. Just because she just has that. She has that. It's like a warm, if I could name her energy, it's like a warm honey vibe. That's what it is.
A warm honey vibe.
That's Jersey.
Yeah, I was just about to. She's from Jersey, and Heather B has that same kind of warm honey thing.
It's Jersey girls.
But it got, Heather's warm honey got a little bit of some brown liquor in it, though.
You got to warm the throat.
It's a hot toddy. It's a hot toddy.
Okay.
Dola, this has been an absolute joy to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. It's been a joy for me too. Thank you.
Yes,
absolutely. I actually bumped into you. You're not going to remember this, but I bumped into you once, Lower West Side Manhattan, and I jumped out of a car. I was getting out the car anyway. I don't know why I was getting out the car.
I do remember this. I do remember this.
Oh, you remember that? Oh, okay, cool.
I do remember this.
Yeah, and
That's
you were on the phone. Yes, and you were on the phone, and I could tell you was in. It seemed like you was in a conversation. I didn't want to be rude, but I was like, I had just watched Billions, and I was like, I gotta say something.
I do remember this. I do remember this.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, big fan, blah blah. You was like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm out. And then gotta go, Sway. I'm this way. But anyway, but listen, when this is all done and said with. Maybe you could come up into our studios when everything is clear, you know, and safe.
I would absolutely love to.
Yeah, I would love to have you, okay? Maybe get you to perform something, too, because your music is infectious and it's alluring. And those videos, those visuals, it's not the kind of videos you watch once. Like, each time you watch it, you're going to find something different. And I love the ending of Blue. The ending of Blue seems like it's a sequel coming.
It's a whole series.
It's a whole series? Okay, great.
Yes, it's a whole series together. But thank you, Sway. Thank you so much, and I'm glad that it resonates with you. And yes, looking forward to seeing you when all this is moved into whatever is meant to be happening next.
Okay, keep creating. Stay safe. Can you please tell your dad and your mom if she remembers us? But I know your dad should. But please tell him I said hello and wish him the best for me. Okay.
I absolutely will. Absolutely will.
Give it up for Dola. Big round of applause. Pick up the new singles. Give up the gold and blue out right now. Thank you, Dola. Take care, okay?
Thank you. Okay, you take care, too.